Hello everyone, this is Sunny from Sunny Life Media. I wanted to talk about perfectionism. So I know that in my from years, whenever I had an interview and someone asked me what's your strength, I always said, oh, I'm a perfectionist. But over the years I realized that no, it's not really a strength of mine, it's a weakness of mine, and it has made things hard for me. So, what is perfectionism? Well, perfectionism is when we set really high standards for ourselves and we can't meet them because the standards are just way too high and we can't meet them. Life of a perfectionist is like an endless report card. It's like, you are always trying to match those standards and you're always assessing yourself. And it's really hard living like that because you can't get much done. So how do you overcome perfectionism? Well, I'm not going to say that you have to have no standards in your life. I am a perfectionist and I do have standards. I had really high standards. I have tried to make them realistic over time. So you have to have standards in your life. Just try to make them more realistic. As in anything, first thing is to recognize it. You have to recognize that you have a problem that you have to deal with. So you have to recognize whether you are a perfectionist or not. And how do you recognize that? Well, ask yourself a question. Ask yourself that, do I have trouble meeting my own standards, or do I feel frustrated or anxious when something doesn't go my way? Also, has someone told you that, you know what, you are trying too hard, you need to calm down a bit? So ask yourself that question, that am I trying too hard? And if you feel like that, yes, then you are a perfectionist and you need to lower your standards a little bit or make them more realistic. And how do you do that? Well, there's two steps. First is to change your thinking pattern, and the second is to change your behavior. The perfectionist thinking is actually very black and white thinking. We either think that things are perfect, or we think that things are really, really bad. So we have very black and white thinking. There's no gray area in the middle. Also, the perfectionists have catastrophic thinking. We think that if something didn't go according to our standards, life's going to end. That is it. Oh my God, this is the worst thing that could have happened to me. So that's one of the thinking patterns we have. Also, we use a lot of should statements, that it should be done this way. I should do this. I should have done it that way. So we use a lot of should statements, and that's the thinking we need to change. And how do we change it? Well, first, we need to do realistic thinking. We have to come to realistic thinking. Realistic thinking basically means we need to practice statements like, no one is perfect. I'm a human. And if things don't go well, it's okay. Humans make mistakes. Others make mistakes. I'm allowed to make mistakes. So that's realistic thinking. If something doesn't go according to your standards, set back, stop and think, it's okay if I made a mistake. Others make mistakes too. I'm fine. Life is going to go on. I can just keep going and move on to my next task. The second is take perspective. And when I say take perspective, means think about what others would have done in that situation. If they had this task, what would they do? If you're really struggling with the task and you're like writing down details, bullet points, and highlighting things and how I'm going to tackle this task, think back that how would my best friend do it, or how would others do it? And or think, if your close friend was doing this, what would you tell them? Would you tell them that, okay, you know what, let's move on with the task. It's okay if we don't have all the details down. Let's start it, and we'll deal with it, and we'll go on. So that's another one. The second, third one that you need to do is compromise. So when I say compromise, means think about it for a moment and say, what is the level of imperfection that I can take for today? So in this particular task, what is the level of imperfection that I can live with? And then move on with the task. That way, you have learned to compromise a little bit, and that would make things easier for you. You will get a lot more done. So that's the thinking. Now we come to the behaviors. When I talk about behaviors, is that once you have changed your thinking, you need to now put it into your behavior. Being a perfectionist is like having a phobia. We perfectionists are really, really scared. It's not like it's just like we're scared. We're like terrified of messing up. We're terrified of messing up. So you need to expose yourself, just like correcting any other phobia. You need to expose yourself to little mistakes or little imperfections. And the more you expose yourself, the better you'll get at it. So, maybe once in a while, try a new restaurant without researching it. What's the worst thing that can happen? Maybe the food would be bad. It's fine. You just try a new restaurant, don't research it, and just go. Be spontaneous. If the food is bad, what's the worst thing that can happen? You'll still live. You're not going to die. Yes, you had bad food or bad service. You will think about it later. Maybe you'll just learn from it and you'll move on, which is fine. So leave a little area of your house messy. It's okay if it's messy. People are not going to judge you. Trust me. They probably didn't even notice that messy area in your house. You're just being a perfectionist. It's okay to leave it messy. You can get other things done while ignoring that. So set realistic standards for yourself, expose yourself to little imperfections in life, and that way, you'll get a lot more done in your life. If you're procrastinating about a task, probably you're procrastinating because you were being a perfectionist. I did a live about procrastination a while ago, and in that I talked about types of procrastinators, and perfectionists are one of the biggest types of procrastinators, just because they want to have it perfect. So that was my bit for today. It's okay if it's not the way you wanted. Actually, the reason today's video, you see my hair is a little messy. I wanted to leave it that way because it's okay if every strand of my hair is not perfect, or my makeup is not perfect. In fact, I'm doing it in my bedroom today, and it's okay if I don't have a perfect background. It's absolutely fine. So, let go of a few things and you might achieve a lot more in your life. That's all for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.